Hi and welcome. My name is Kate Forrester. I'm the founder of The Happy and Creative Life. I help people spark their inner beauty, find their joy, their happiness, their purpose in life, and fall back in love with their life. Today, I'm really excited because this is the first of a series of interviews on the notion of beauty. And my first guest is a wonderful lady. She's the British actress Angela Bruce. Angela's fun, she's warm, she's witty, she's got lots of energy. And so, welcome, Angela.
So, hello, Angela, and
Hi.
thank you for being here.
You're welcome, pleasure.
So, Angela,
Yeah.
you're an actress, and I generally describe actors as being professional shapeshifters.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
I Googled you yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and I'm quite impressed, really, because I saw that you have managed to escape typecasting. And I think that's great. It says a lot about you. And this leads me to my first question, in
Okay.
fact, which is, what do you see, Angela, when you look at yourself in the mirror? First of all, do you recognize yourself?
That's a good question. As I get older, I see more of my parents. I see my mother, sort of in this part of my face. I see my father's brow. In this, and the reason why I've chosen that is because I've just literally just found my birth parents, both of them, or my father died, but I've seen a picture of him for the first time. So before that, I had nothing to compare.
Uh-huh.
And when I was growing up, I was raised in a predominantly white village. Well, all white village.
Yes.
So I had no one to compare myself with. So I saw myself as other. Yeah.
How did you feel?
It's like you're two places at once. You're there and yet you're separate, and that's a very interesting place to be. And as I got older, I felt I straddled the two, the white and the black of myself. Yeah, and therefore I saw myself in a very universal way. If I described myself, I'd say I'm a universal soul.
That's great.
Yeah,
I love that.
I
Yeah.
have the opportunity to actually reflect everyone and everything because I can be a mirror. As you know, I think actors are a mirror.
Yes.
And therefore, I don't believe anyone can really see their own face. When you look in a mirror, you have already a view. If you look into a mirror and you're looking serious, you go, oh my. And, I mean, a lot of actors, we're the worst at it, of looking at something and saying all the things that are wrong. And yet, when I go for an interview or to meet someone, I go into the ladies' cloakroom and I look in the mirror and I'll go, they'll be lucky to have me. Because what I want to do is bring the energy. I want to bring myself into my face.
Yes.
I want to bring the best brightness of me into my face. And if you ever have had, whether you believe it or not, about palmistry, a good palmist will say, I'll give you a moment to put yourself into your hand before they try and read you, because you're not there. And I don't think when people look into a mirror in, say, a cloakroom, they actually are present.
Yeah.
I think I probably will remember people's energy through their face and through their eyes than I will their face. And my partner's often saying that. She says, oh, there's such and such. And I go, until they switch on, I don't know who she's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does
So
that make
it's
sense?
it's would you say that then the notion of beauty is related to presence then?
Yes. I think you've got to look inside. And I think that's where, for instance, if you're looking at a child and a child looks at you, they just see lights, they just see colours, they just see it's positive or it's threatening, it's simple. If you look at most animals, they'll look at you in that way, or they say dogs look to the left-hand side of your face. They're trying to see some energy that's friendly. And I think when you first go to a different country, for instance, we've been to Greece. I don't speak the language. I find that the communication is through the smile. I find that people come towards you and offer help if you smile. If you look really sort of, well, what's happening here, who's going to help, they'll stay where they are through security, a defense, a protection. Yet I found all the people on the island I was with came towards me, and we tried to find a communication of language, but it's through that expression. And humor, great humor with no words. That can only be to do with an energy that says, yes, I'm open. Or, as I say to people sometimes, if you're not feeling your whole self, if you're not present in yourself, say you feel little. I feel little today. In other words, I feel vulnerable today. And therefore expect nothing big from me. It's that simple. And other days you feel big, and therefore you have an excess of energy, and you're protective, not only for yourself, but for others around you. I feel. That's my feeling. So when I'm asked to play a different character, first of all, I've got to find that part of me that's frightened of that challenge. It's usually a younger self, younger me, who goes, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not sure if I can do this. And you've got to say, comfort that person, and then all those different ages can come and do that job. All of those ages. And as you get older, people accept your authority because you are trying to reflect all those different ages. And probably you're reflecting whoever was your group who raised you. Unbeknownst to you, you're reflecting your parents or those who have parented you, whether you had a family or not. There are people who have parented you. And all of their experience can come out in your face. And then someone says, oh, I can accept you as, for instance, you're playing a social worker or a judge, because even though you haven't got legally those experiences, you have met all those different types of qualities needed for that particular role.
It's
Does
very
that make
interesting. Yes,
sense?
absolutely. It's a very interesting point of view. You just mentioned the people who brought you up. I think you had an exceptional mother, from what I know.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about this lady.
Okay.
What did she say to you? Did she ever tell you that you were pretty, you were beautiful, or was it something else, maybe about confidence, about...
It's interesting again, because I think that if my feeling is that if you give a child certain labels, like you're beautiful, you're pretty, or you're clever, or you're this or that, it kind of can fix them sometimes. And then when they don't get that feedback as they get older, they get anxious. Like if you are, my partner is very, very intelligent, went to Oxford, first of the family to go to Oxford, and did very well, and has many languages at her disposal, and very cultured, traveled the world, it's any subject she will give you an offering for. Having said that, it doesn't allow room for failure. And I think that if someone says you're beautiful, and then you meet someone else whose interpretation is totally different, and they don't even see you, you question. It's very much a human trait. Like, for instance, if you are successful in something, you don't see it as repetitious, you just see failure as repetition. No, if I failed, there you go again. It's repetitious. Whereas success, you go almost like you don't deserve it. And so my mother was from Ireland. My mother had 3 children already, and she was in her early 40s when she adopted me at the age of 3. Now, she was already other. She was here from Ireland in a very tight-knit mining community. And so therefore her very accent, even though she regarded herself as not having an accent, separated her from others. And so they were cautious. But because she came with my father, who was from the mining village, that's her first credit. Oh, well, if Joe says she's all right. But to be one of them, there's a very much a community and family, and she would remain. She enjoyed that feeling of other. She's very proud of her Irish heritage, but she also said, look, I've got here my own merit. I have travelled across water to get here. Where have you come from? A lot of people didn't move. So when she brought me into the house, she gave me an independence. If I said, what did she give me? She gave me courage. She gave me a very positive outlook. If I didn't get a job, she'd say, well, it obviously wasn't meant to be. There'll be something around the corner. So she was a glass half full.
Learning to accept things as they are.
Accept things as they are. If that hasn't worked out, there's another possibility. Whereas some people, if you fail, then there's no point. And
there's self-judgment.
That's right. And I always say that you mustn't take failure personally, and you mustn't take success personally, because neither of them are actually real, especially in the business I'm in.
What about when you're on stage at the end of the performance, when people applaud?
I always think people shouldn't applaud. I always think if you are buzzing, if you are you've really got inspired or moved by a particular play or project and you're really buzzing, take that with you. Don't disperse it by clapping. Don't break it up. It's yours. This is what I've offered to you. I've asked you to come into this space. This space has a certain point to it and certain celebration, and most they try to infect you with something. And if you really are moved by it, if you really are inspired by it or thoughtful by it, stay with it. Take it home with you. That's really our gift to you. And when we'll go away, but you could bow, but don't displace it. And that's the same with when you see people take, oh, I'd like to thank. It's so far away from the project. It's not real anyway. But what is the applause for? What are you applauding for? If you're saying, for instance, the best actor, well, that's some people in someone's view, or a committee of people have said that's the best performance of the year. Whose authority? I don't really know, because I can see a street performer doing the most fantastic moving performance. I've seen some lovely street performers who do mimes and a ball in the hand and making it fly and making it live, and that to me is the best thing I've seen all year, but it's not measured by the same thing. So if I go onto stage, I would like to be able to disappear. I'd like to be able to, and that's not always possible, I'd like to be able to get out of the way. The best performances I've ever done when I've been absolutely petrified, when I've been sure they've totally miscast. And in that moment, you move out of the way. You almost watch the performance and you go, wow.
It's not really me.
No, it's definitely
like
not you.
Me.
It's like it's a tuning fork and you're going through it, and it's just all flows.
It's really just opening up.
Absolutely.
So that is very much like being beautiful in a way.
That is it.
Yeah.
That's where beauty is, because I've seen the most people who, models or actresses or actors who have told me very handsome or beautiful, when they feel that changes, when some agent says, oh, well, now you're getting older, we're going to have to do something about that little chin, or we're going to and they start tampering with it. They're actually forgetting the inner them that got them there. The very thing that got you there is the very thing you're switching off. It's the very thing you're ignoring. Because everyone, if you can find their song, their inner light, Everyone is beautiful. Everyone has that connection, because what can you say is beauty? Living, being vibrant, feeling your best. A day when you just want to punch the air for no reason, nothing concrete, just you feel so full of something. It makes you, then you look young, then you look vibrant, then you are everything, each level of your growth, from childhood right up to where you are. That's why you'll find some people who sit there at the age of 97 with a smile on their face and just go, you've no idea how close it is, because it's where you are. If you're present, that's what we're spending all this time doing. That's what people try and do. Say, first of all, to save time. To do what? And then to say, I want something over there.
Yes.
But it's always in here first.
Yes.
The
So
thing,
inner and outer beauty are really connected. It's the
absolutely,
same-
absolutely.
Mm.
You know those days. No one needs to tell you you're buzzing, and people say, God, you look great. And you go, thank you. And other times you go, yeah, well, but you're already chipping away at the very thing that child has it.
Yes. Yeah. They don't ask themselves
Yeah.
that many questions, in fact.
That's
So,
right. And what we should spend the rest of the time is trying to gain and find that inner child at an older age, because you've got this amazing experience. You've got this amazing wealth of knowledge that has been offered you and your own journey. But you need to connect to the inner child. That first courageous moment with most children where they said, I'm in comfort, I'm in the womb, I am so secure. Now I'm going to leave. What? I'm going to go down this really dark tunnel.
And it is the
And
child that
fingers
makes that
crossed.
decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. To know what way. For 9 months you've been nurtured and secure and safe and listening to a heartbeat. I'm going to leave all that. My God, you couldn't be more courageous, could you?
No, absolutely.
And isn't that what you should try and connect to now?
I totally agree. Totally agree. Angela, we've got a little game
sorry.
to play.
Oh.
On these cards on the table, there are quotes by
Okay.
famous people. So just pick a few cards and tell me what you think. Just read the quote and...
Okay, can I pick them one at once?
Yeah.
Beauty is the premise of happiness.
So that's by the French author Stendhal.
Beauty is the premise of happiness.
I must say that was a tricky one. When I wrote it on the
Yeah.
card, I thought, I'm not exactly sure I know what he means.
If you're looking outside, and I've got to go back to Greece, and I was on the island of Tinos, and I was up in the mountains, and you had a 180-degree view of the sea. And in the morning, you had the sunrise, and in the evening, the sunset. And sometimes through the cloud, you got what they call the fingers of God, where the light just comes in
Beautiful,
pools.
yeah.
That, I understand, would be that to me.
Great. Great answer. I
Yeah?
like it. Yes. Please take another card.
Oh, it's like a lovely game, this. Let's see. If you see something beautiful in someone, speak it. Absolutely. Ruthie Lindsay, I totally agree with this one. Have you ever done it?
No. Well, yeah, I have with my children, for example. Or with my students when I was
yes.
a drama teacher, because
Yeah.
I thought, they're very vulnerable. I think there's something really vulnerable about being an actor. You put yourself in that position of vulnerability.
Yes.
And, they weren't professional actors. They were doing it because they just loved acting. And I thought I really needed to make them feel safe doing it, because I think it is the ultimate way to learn about yourself. Once I don't know how to express this really well, but I think once you know how to find that inner beauty, it doesn't leave you. Then you can always find your
Yes.
way.
Yes.
Because it's a question of courage. You were talking about courage. I agree with that.
Yes.
It's really feeling confident,
Yeah.
and confidence is something that you learn.
Yes, yes.
It's it's also just being authentic.
Yeah.
Being yourself. Stop comparing yourself to other people.
That's right.
It's really hard.
That's right.
And it's very hard for young women too.
Yeah.
All the magazines are
Yeah.
full of pictures of women who've been photoshopped.
Yes.
And they keep comparing themselves
That's right.
to ideals
I think-
that are, it's just
Looking at a photo, and the only place I look at it is in the dentist. I mean, really, that's a place you need some sort of distraction. The only time I ask for a painkiller is when I'm paying the bill. I mean, really, it's hard. But I look at magazines and I see all the Photoshop. I might as well be looking at horoscopes because it's as relevant
yes.
and not relevant to me because of the work I see done. And sometimes I see people I know who don't look like anything like I see in that picture. I know one actress who her partner's never seen her face without makeup.
No.
She wears the makeup to go to bed all day, wears it to go to bed, and then gets up earlier than he does and redoes her makeup. And she's really beautiful with no makeup.
I'm sure she is.
But I can't find her to tell her that. I can't find her. Now I'm at the age I am, I walk around the streets, and if I see somebody who looks beautiful, male or female, I'll tell them. If I see something I think suits them, I see that makes them shine, I will say, you look fabulous in that colour, and just walk off. And they go, oh, thank you. But I do that.
Yeah.
And I can do that at this age. There's no condition on that. There's no rider to that. And I feel confident in my own skin to do that. And I think that's important. I constantly reassure and talk to my friends how I see them and my partner every day. I say what the most wonderful thing for me is watching my partner talking to other people and the effect that my partner has on those other people and how that reflects back.
Yeah, you love seeing that
I
light.
love it.
Yes.
Because you can't capture it. It's there and it's alive, and then it's finished. I see when you talk about actors, every single person on this planet is acting to a certain degree with the elements, with other human beings. It has to be. It has to be. Someone somewhere will be the leader. Someone else will choose to be led. Someone else will not commit. They're neutral. And then they'll change roles. If it's right, they'll change roles. I think with my partner, we change roles all the time. There'll be times, as I say, when I will say, I feel little today, and therefore they will lead. And then other times I can say, I'm unstoppable today.
A must that's
No.
forever.
And I don't assume it's going to be, I know it's not there every day. I know it's there, should I say. I know it's within me, but it's whether I have activated it or not. If I talk about the essence, I think that's where the energy is. It doesn't mean it's left me. It just means it's safe. It's somewhere safe that I can't tamper with it. I can't abuse it in any way. You know? And I think, therefore, I think that some people are actors and they get paid to act. Yeah? I think a lot of us in the business are insecure. I think a lot of times there has been some shaming, and I use the word shame because have you listened to Brené Brown?
Yes, I
Right.
love Brené Brown.
Then if you listen to her, that's where the seat of it is. Where was the first time you felt shame? And how does that ricochet through your life?
Yes, yeah.
You know, that you constantly need it to protect yourself,
Yeah.
and what was that instance and who caused that, and have you managed to at least put that into perspective? Because I think that I feel myself, I constantly am learning the same lesson, exactly the same lesson. I may be in a different business. I started off in catering. I may be in a different business, but I feel that I'm still dealing with the same issues that I was dealing with when I was 6 or when I was 7, when I was embarrassed about my multiplication tables, as I do now. It still feels in the same place. It still resonates in me. So anyway, so yes, if I see something beautiful in someone, I will tell them. I liked it the other day when I saw you and you said, you look tired. I went, yes, I did. I was. And then I can say to you, yes, I was, because.
Yes.
Not just speak to me and go, oh, you look great today. I need somebody to say, I recognized this.
Yes.
Which allows a conversation.
Yes.
You know how people are afraid of certain conversations when they say, especially in this country, how are you? Fine. They don't want you to say, well, actually, if you've got a moment. You can feel them go, I didn't really, that's just a sentence. But actually, I think that's one of the problems. You can't show when you're feeling little.
Yes.
When you've faced something like loss, grief, illness, those are the times you also need to talk about. Those are the times when people become actors, certainly in this country. I shouldn't, especially up north where I come from. Oh, no, I shouldn't. I shouldn't show any weakness whatsoever. Which is not real. There's the actor.
Yeah.
My parents were actors. For my sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, a beautiful thing is never perfect. Yes, I agree with that. There's who is it who says someone, the plate shall reform. When you take the plate and you smash it, and then it's in the actual putting it together again.
The Japanese way of binding things with gold.
Yes, there's nothing perfect. Nothing. It can't be.
It would be boring too.
It's frightening how many people try to be perfect. It is frightening to try and be perfect. And I think maybe that's one of the things I learned when I was young, the feeling of other than what they regard as perfect. I'm never going to fit into that. I don't even fit into that in this business that I'm in. Because I don't, when I'm not working, I'm at rest. Everything about me is at rest. I love when I'm not working as much as when I work. And I love when I'm working.
Yes.
But I also love when I'm not working. But what I don't do, what I'm happy about, is I don't feel I need to cover my skin. I need it to be free. I know my skin doesn't like makeup. But when when I go into a makeup room preparing for filming, and they say, would you like to put your lipstick on? I go, no, none of it. You do it. And I just sit there, and the danger is I can go to sleep if someone's stroking my face. But also, I just, that's my hair done. That's how I've been all my life. I think once my sister-in-law, when she was a hairdresser, straightened my hair. And it was long. And I first of all got on my cousin's motorbike, and it went all over the place, which was really confusing. But the thing I found strange was, if you were eating, it seemed to get to your food before you did. I thought that was really not a good thing. So I think this is why a lot of people walking the street recognize me, because I'm one of the few actresses, black actresses in this country, who wears natural hair, my own hair. Whereas most people will iron it or do very strange things to it. And so that's what I mean. I can be at rest. I mean, you've seen me. I can go out and anything. I have no problem about doing that. I can go anywhere on my own. I'm happy in my skin. And that, I think, is, again, from that foundation of my mother. If there was 33 in a class, I managed to come 31st in some things, and she said, oh, well, never mind, you tried, pet. That is really good for me.
Yes, oh, that's the
That
best of
I
education.
didn't feel it less. And when I walk around the street, people say, "Oh, you haven't changed." Of course, my face has changed, my whole everything, and yet no, it hasn't. The spirit is the same, no matter what. Um, I'm not saying this has happened all the time. I'm not saying this happens every day. It's what I try to get back to in the end. It's the only thing I have that's
I think
real.
there comes a point when, in fact, there's something strange that happens. You may have more lines on your face,
Yes.
but at the same time, you look younger.
That's right.
And you don't look like your 30-year-old self either.
That's right.
But there is something that's youthful.
Yes. Because there's something, I think each wrinkle is a credit. If you wear it proudly, it's a credit. Because when you're meeting someone, you know, we were like this in our teens, we knew everything. But we hadn't a single line of knowledge. If you want to see a tree, a really interesting tree, an oak, and you look at the trunk, it's all wrinkled, saying, I have the wisdom of the years before you, and I will have the wisdom of the years after you.
It's lovely.
And you're just passing through. And I look at you and I go, yeah, you've got something about you. What have you seen? What have you experienced? The changes, if I'm thinking that I remember them landing on the moon. My mum said once, so my mum said when she came off a flight, I said, did you enjoy the flight? She said, no. I said, why? She said, well, we flew at night. And I said, well, didn't you look out the window at the start? Oh, no, we flew above those. Now, that was one. And my other friend's aunt said, when the Americans had landed on the moon, she said, oh, them Americans, they're always showing off. You wait, we land on our moon. And she believed it. That was it. That was plain and simple. She was being anywhere. And there must be a moon for the UK. There's a moon for every other country.
That's a lovely idea.
And it's quite simple, it's quite straightforward. But going back to this, talking about the young, there's this confidence that I know everything now. There's nothing more you can teach me. And as they start to gather more information, the lines start to come. It's like a credit of, yes, I've been there. I can talk to you. There's nothing I believe that you can share with me that will cause me to hide. Some people can talk to me, some people have stood and talked to me about their cancer. I can talk about that. I understand that and I've experienced that. And I have the lines to prove it. And therefore I have a very solid support of you and say, open up, it's safe. That's all in this face. Don't be afraid. Other people will be frightened, and you will know if you have had an illness and somebody says, oh, I haven't seen you for a long while, and you say, oh, well, I've had cancer. You can feel them go, and they
don't want to
they
know.
retreat. They haven't got those credits on their face, and therefore you don't give them that information. For their protection, they're not ready. Because that's not a death warrant I'm talking about. That's a life warrant. Because I have realized more about my life having gone through that experience. And I can't give that to you. I can't give that to you when I say, I not only thank my partner every day, I thank the building that I live in. When I leave my home, I thank the building and I say, keep you safe. It's just a thing I do. Because I don't want to be, it's been there longer than me, it will outlive me. And that's the joy of it, the knowledge of that. Don't worry about owning it, you never could. You never will. You've exchanged some money, but you never will own it. But I want to be thankful for, first of all, my body allowing me to have the early warning system, because some people don't get it till too late. I want to be thankful that I'm at an age where they have more knowledge of how to deal with that than they did ever before, especially for women and now for men with prostate cancer. But I want to thank each day. I want to not be familiar with this day. And having had that experience, I'm not. And I know that yes, something went wrong. Something went wrong and yet went right, because it opened my eyes and made me appreciate every moment. And so from something broken, from something that somebody would say was imperfect or broken, something actually comes out of it. So yes, this beautiful thing is never perfect, but it offers you a beauty. It offers you that transformation. I'm sorry if I'm gabbling on a bit.
Oh, I'm crying.
Oh no, really?
It's,
That bad, huh?
It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. Thank you, Angela, for all of this.
You're welcome.
It's really nice. It's lovely to hear you. It's lovely to hear somebody talking in a way that is really sounds authentic. Nobody else is Angela. Nobody else is Angela Bruce, and you're really beautiful. You really are.
Thank you.
I noticed right from the start that you said whatever you had to say. I thought that's very brave. I tend to be scared of people like you, not because of this, but because I think, my experience with people who express themselves is sometimes they don't always listen. And I
Yes.
thought, with you, getting to know you,
Yeah.
it was absolutely the opposite. You do listen. And then I thought, okay, well, then she's got it. She not only has the ability to really listen, to honor that space,
Yeah.
of encountering somebody different,
Yeah.
but also you speak your truth.
Yeah.
And I think you've got it.
Oh,
Thank you
you.
very much, Angela.
You're welcome.
Yeah. It's been,
Absolute pleasure.
it's my pleasure.
Yeah.